Can you talk a little more about how you source your food locally and what that entails?
I can.
Okay.
That was something for me that I opened up my first place here in 1987, and it was funny because at that time, we couldn't source anything almost locally, even though we're an agricultural community, and going back to Hohokams and
Right.
being a land of melon and corn and other great citrus and which was later, but the gifts that were here were inaccessible. They were all exported. Like even if it was in whether there were onions that were grown in Mesa even at that time, but exported to Georgia to become Vidalia onions, or I think we're the #2 producer of iceberg lettuce in the world outside of Salinas, but none of it really came back into the state. It was exported.
Right.
But at that time, I had a woman named Bernice, the basil lady. That was just an older woman, a sweet woman. She's still alive. Lives in South Phoenix, and would bring me basil, and then would grow me arugula, and then saw that I liked it, and she became engaged in this, so it became very singular in that way back then. But since then, it's just like when you open your back door, it's amazing what shows up.
Right.
When you kind of let them, become part of your journey. And
Right.
Now I have incredible network of farmers. Bob McClendon McClendon's will select citrus, but he grows everything for me now. And he came into my life at a time when my other farmer, a guy named Charlie Collins, a great man, and Charlie was one of the first guys to really kind of go the whole end for me, like grow, like deal with native seed search and indigenous, foods and melons and beans and things like that were not commonplace then. And Bob's taking it another level by continuing to grow and also source like-minded purveyors, which I think is part of it. Like if you send a truck somewhere filled with, perfectly fantastic, just picked organic tangerines, and they go to Idaho, well, hopefully they're coming back with perfectly, just dug, organic, like-minded potatoes, which will come back uncompromised, which is another great word to think about, is the uncompromised foods or the uncompromised lives that we should all be living. And
What do you mean by uncompromised food?
I mean that if I try to ship you a dandelion, to Tokyo, there's good chance that it might become compromised regardless of my intent.
Right.
There'll be a lack of refrigeration, water, sun, things that would sustain its, not only nutrients but kind of mission.
Right.
But if I can send you something in that way,
right.
Like to think we're taking water across water doesn't make a lot of sense. Like we bring bottled water in, if we're gonna bring it in from Arkansas, and it's great, it's fantastic. But I think that when we're sending, produce, we do have an opportunity in our world right now to get things to other parts of the world without compromise, with all the nutrients and the intent intact. But maybe they're not lettuces, but maybe we can engage them to grow their own lettuces, their own, very sensitive, foods that would feed them. Empower, other people to grow things that are indigenous, and then we can infiltrate with maybe things that become celebratory, like we get a pineapple from Hawaii. It becomes a celebratory experience, and not necessarily like
like something to be expected.
Yeah, it's not something like in our world now, which is like anything, anytime, any cost. Strawberries in the middle of January. Anything. Like we and part of this whole thing is just our own consciousness. Like deprivation is where you learn things. And where you get,
where you appreciate things.
It's where you find your hunger.
Yeah.
And when you bring things in that world that actually feed you, and not just keep you fat.